and we are on live with Marcel Cohen. Hello, Marcel.
Hello, Meir. Hello. What can I tell you? I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Me too. So good to see you. You look so nice, amazing. Really nice.
I'll tell you, yes, I look amazing. That's for sure. You too, as well as everybody else from what I see.
Yes.
And not by mistake. We are all going through certain changes in life. Obviously, we are doing the right things. It is making us look good. And you, my brother, are playing the major role in directing us and many other colleagues, and you are making them look very good in every respect.
Thank you. So you want to ask me questions?
Questions? Well, rather than really ask questions, because we are supposed to be all-knowing and we know everything, so to speak. So I want you to share with us your wisdom in terms of real estate market in general, and specifically the roles and responsibilities of the landlords within the real estate market, which obviously has turned upside down. What was right yesterday is not right today anymore. The so-called proverbial business as usual, it is no more. From A to Z, absolutely everything has changed. So it is giving that we have to change together with that as fast as possible. Everybody is hurting. There are many limits, many walls all around us, and we have to have the ideas to penetrate this and then come to the open once again, whatever that means. People call it the new norm. Well, what exactly is the new norm? You really have to have an idea about it, the specifics, the data about it, so that you can get used to this new norm. As a matter of fact, how about you establish the new norm yourself? After all, it has to be redone, reestablished. And we are the players really to do that. And we look into sources or resources such as yourself, not every source, such as yourself, because in terms of people that they know what they are doing, they know what they are saying, they speak the truth, they can define every single paragraph, sentence, word. You can stop them and do that, which is you. So you are the right place to stop and then have a conversation so that we are better equipped to move on. Now, I do have some questions, which is part and parcel of this, but I'm looking at the landlords as the leader in terms of managing the real estate facilities, and there are many subsets to that. For example, the traffic that comes and goes to the building, the tenants themselves in particular, the city, the government, the banks for that matter. So it seems to me like the landlords are almost as important as any other leader in any aspect of the industry and the economy for that matter, or the politics, because the buck stops here. Where do I go, right? Yet I have many people that are reporting to me. There are many people that I'm responsible for. And how do you do that efficiently and effectively? Now the margins are next to zero. You cannot afford to make any mistakes. So where do we start?
Okay. So where do we start? We need to start with realizing that while the market changes, the principle don't. Principle don't change.
That's
Who
right.
succeed? People that succeed are people that actually deliver more than expected. That's number
right.
one. People that are liked, then you need to be liked. And you need to like people. So you need these two things. You need to like people and you need to be liked. And when you have this kind of a relationship, when you are liked by others and you like other people, all the solution become obvious because you are all of a sudden have a viewpoint of making things go right rather than making yourself being right. Big difference. Making things
perfect.
go right versus being right.
Can you expand tiny bit on how one goes about the to like and being liked? I mean, we are born with the feelings that we do like ourselves and we do like others, but when it comes to implementing in real life, how do people go about achieving that end?
Yeah. So within a second, just for as a landlord or as a businessman, we're talking about the same principle like we always had. Let's take this thing that you spoke about, being liked and or doing the right things and not trying to be right, and being liked and liking other people. Okay. So when you look at someone else, when you deal with the person and the other person have a different viewpoint than yours, you can have only two viewpoints. Like on anything in life, you can have plus or minus. Anything in life is composed of plus and minus and nothing else. Okay. So when I see another person and he has a different viewpoint than mine, the one viewpoint is I can see that he's wrong because he has a different viewpoint than mine. The other viewpoint that I can have is that I can see that he really tried very hard to help me by convincing me that he's right, because he thinks that his viewpoint is good for him and he wants to give it to me. So he has like the best viewpoint for himself and he's offering it to me and I'm saying no. If I get that, if I really realize that the other person on the other side tried to help me from his viewpoint, some unbelievable thing happen. I don't hate him, I understand him. I'll give you to understand this thing. You need to have a viewpoint. Imagine that you have a person that cannot talk. He just cannot talk. He doesn't have a tongue. Okay, and you come to him and he cannot talk. Yes, you tell him talk to me, and he's not talking because he doesn't have a tongue. Yes. You will not get upset with him for not talking to you. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you agree that he has that limitation that he cannot talk to you. The same thing when you go to a person that disagree with you. He has a limitation of not seeing your viewpoint. So if you will understand that he doesn't have a tongue. He has a limitation that he cannot talk to you. He does not understand you. If you understand that this is exactly what's going on, and you'll understand that a person that don't understand you have a limitation, and all you have to do is that from his viewpoint, he's doing his best.
Such a great analogy. Yes.
Thank you. So if you get that, if you really understand that, you will see that you will never be upset with the other person, but you will understand them. And when you understand someone, really understand them, something fascinating happening at the other side. Because the only purpose in life is to be understood. Your purpose in life is to be understood. Above all other purposes, you want to be understood. If you understand someone, that person will do anything for you because you help him achieve his purpose. And when you don't understand a purpose, when you don't understand the other person, you will see that that person will do anything against you because he wants you to understand his purpose.
That's right. That's right.
So all you have to do as a person in business, as a person in a situation like that, or in any situation, is increase your ability to understand the other person. And what does it mean, the ability to understand the other person? It means that you need to understand that anything that is not perfect is just a handicap, exactly like not having a tongue. And if you understand that, it doesn't mean the person that don't have a tongue is not a bad person, is not a cruel person, is not anything. It just doesn't have a tongue. So someone that have other viewpoint, something different than yours, just have a different viewpoint than yours. That's it. Not more, not less. And if you can see that like that, all of a sudden relationship become very, very logical and very, very pro-survival. And you will see that your income is not monitored by the COVID, is not monitored by the business situation. It's not monitored by anything. Your income is monitored only by the quality and the quantity of your relationships.
Absolutely.
Have more relationships, improve your relationships, and people will give you money.
It is interesting that just before COVID, things were somewhat or more aggressively, they were different. And a landlord had to deal with maybe one issue or one tenant, and it was much more practical for him to do exactly that, which over the years, ever since we have been working together, this is exactly what we are doing. After COVID, what happened or seems to be happening, not only one problem, there are limitless number of problems, such as all your tenants, all your patients, all everybody is on your case. And it's also, as it so happens that because you happen to be in the ownership position as a landlord, they look up to you, rightfully so under normal circumstances, for resolution. The landlords are getting obviously overwhelmed. And not to mention, even if when they want to implement what they want to implement, the resources even beyond them, they don't exist, or they themselves are having difficulty, including people servicing the facilities, for example. They are all locked down. So you have a landlord essentially with the technical problem, with the rent problem, so forth and so on, and you are totally on a lockdown, even though you are an essential service and you are supposed to be open. Unless you were ready somewhat before the pandemic, then you have no choice but to shut everything down with a minus cash flow on the spot.
Yeah. So what you need to do in a situation like that is to communicate more, explain more, and get more organized. You need to become better in everything. In situation like that, at a time of emergency, you need to become more accurate, more efficient, more everything. And you will see that if you will actually do it, if you will actually learn how to run a business even more accurately, the coronavirus is the best thing that happened to businesses from my viewpoint, if the business owner actually know what to do. Because this is a time that you can come up with totally new ideas and they will be easily accepted. This is a time that you can recreate your business. This is a time that you can reorganize things. You can create more and more streams of income. It is a time that forces you to become creative. And it's the best thing that can happen to a person, to become creative, because the more creative you are, the more future you have. And the only problem is that most people has not been creative for so long. So they are really just sitting and hoping that something will happen. But if you're willing to be creative, and I can tell you exactly what you need to do. It's really simple. What you need to do is take every problem that you have. Just take a problem, just write the problem, name the problem, and then sit down and invent solutions. Not logical solution, not practical solution, not anything. Just invent solution. Invent. And once you train this invention muscles, you will see that you will come up with something that even the gods will take their heads off, because you're that powerful. People are that powerful. The spirit is so powerful that the muscle of the spirit is ideas. If you just start to throw out ideas at your situations and throw out ideas, and it's not important if the ideas are logical or not, but throw out idea at the situation and you will see that as long as you decided that this is what you want, you will get what you want. You know that even in the Holocaust, people came up with ideas that allowed them to survive, and those people that just decided that there's no ideas did not survive. The difference between the people that survive in the Holocaust and not, one for one, those people that survive somehow saw a future, somehow came up with ideas, even in the Holocaust. And in every situation, every single situation, when I go, I go to people and I help them, I coach them. And the big difference between what I do and what the people are doing is when they're in the situation, there's so much in the situation, they have no idea what to do. And they will tell you, I have no idea. Actually, they say, I have no idea. And what because I come as an external viewpoint, and I said, well, I know I have endless amount of ideas. The one thing that I have no shortage of is ideas. And I just start to try ideas, and very quickly they see that something can be done about it. And the moment that the person decides something can be done about it, there is no problem anymore. A problem is a problem only for as long as you don't think that something can be done about it. The moment that you had this decision, something can be done about it. It doesn't have to be big thing, small thing, just something can be done about it. At that moment, you started to move, and once you start to move, you'll pick up inertia, and for as long as you continue to move, as long as you know something can be done about it, for you, there will be no failure.
Absolutely. This is, some of us anyways, we are acting on that basis for a long time now, which is, for lack of a better word, we are doing well in terms of we are not shutting down, we are in operation. And it is interestingly, actually, not necessarily with verbal communication, but people on the other side that you are serving, tenants, physicians, or patients, staff members, they can read you. Yeah. They read you silently. So there is more than one communication channel between us and the world really around us. Mm-hmm. And I have, we all notice, we know it, and we notice it. And as a result of that, there is a silent cooperation among all the involved in such situations and in such places. We happen to be such a place, whether the apartment buildings, the tenants, or our medical facilities, or other commercial facilities. As long as they are open, they were not really shut down. They look up the pyramid to the management, how we are handling it, and they are adjusting to it, as if we are giving them a backbone. We are giving them this support. So the purpose of this interview here that we are talking about, for people publicly to hear as to how one can go about it, and obviously you are the best person to articulate it, and hopefully many people are going to be able to listen and get the ideas beyond what we are doing ourselves, that they themselves will be even more aware and more awake, and we may even do even better as we progress. Not maybe, but for sure. If we are managing in this condition, I'm sure we can manage better in the upcoming conditions.
Yeah. So a few things. Things will relax over time, but it's not the end of the situation. It's really not the end of the situation. I think it's just the beginning of the situation. And for a person that have the correct viewpoint on the situation, it is really good. Why? Why do you get money? Why do you get reward? Because you helped someone. Correct. You get money for helping. So a salesman is a person that helps the prospect to help himself with my product or services. So now, when you have such a situation where people have a lot of problems, you can help a lot. You just need to decide that you can. And if you decide you can help, there's endless, many ways that you can help, and you just need to look around and say, okay, in my area of expertise, what can I do to help? And just come up with ideas. Make a list. What can I do to help? What can I do to help? And make a list. What can I do to help? Not logical or not illogical, not if you have the resources or not. Just make a list of what can you do to help. And all of a sudden you will know what to do. And before you'll finish to do the list, you will already have income, only as long as you don't say that you will not, that it will not work. So for as long as you think it will work and you will make the list, by the time you will finish writing the list, before you finish writing this list, you will see, you will have income. It is magical. Just figure out how you can help. And before you manage to actually help, you will have a business and you will have income. Because what does it mean, a business? A business is number of people committed to help specific type of problem. That's a business. So now there is a lot of help that needed and no limitations. I'll tell you something even more interesting. The best way to be free, or the size of your freedom has to do with the size of the chain. If you are caged by a cardboard and you break the cardboard and you go out, okay, you got freedom from a cardboard and it's not nothing because you've been in a box for a few minutes. Yes. If you've been caged in a jail cell and you break and you go out, the freedom is much bigger. But if you've been jailed in a universe and you go out to a different universe, it will be much bigger. Right now, everyone is jailed. And because of that, the opportunities, what can be done, the size of freedom that you can achieve is endless. All you have to do is to come up with ideas.
It is so much true what you're saying, as we have been talking for many years, and as if we have been preparing ourselves for such an eventuality. And it is also so true that at the beginning, let us say starting March 15, we started to see the pandemic as if it is the end of everything. It got worse a little bit for a month or so, but we started to get used to the idea to start with. But in parallel, in our case, we started to see what are the opportunities. And then at least for a month or longer, we have been entertaining opportunities as to what will the new economy or the new norm is going to require. I just want to tie this with the comment that you made that, in my words, first shoe dropped. Now we are waiting for the second shoe to drop. So looking at it with the previous economy, exactly true, obviously, what you are saying. And this second shoe, you can describe it any which way really you want. But having said that, even under those circumstances, we still have to survive. That already automatically means that people need each other and to do things for each other. You may not be doing exactly what you are doing today. You may be doing something entirely different, or whatever you are doing today, in itself, you will be doing it differently, more effective, more efficient. Life will be really great. If you're okay with it, if you can expand on what is this second shoe means, and for those who are not quite in line with what we are talking about here, and they get hit with the second shoe, what does this mean to them? And what is the description of the second shoe?
Okay, so we had a situation. I've actually started to work on that situation in December last year. Myself and my very, very good friend and partner, Danny, we started to work on this COVID situation in December. And at the beginning, from the beginning, it was clear for us, and we put videos out about it, and we spoke about it that this is going to be a big situation, and it's a big lie. What do I mean it's a big lie? There is a virus, okay? But the size of the hysteria is not proportional to the size of the problem.
That's right.
And because the proportion is out, you get what you get in any extreme situation. You get stupidity. Extremists bring about stupidity. Okay? So when you have an extreme situation, or when you have extremists all looking at one direction, the end result is stupidity. So what do you do in a situation like that? In a situation like that, what you do, you look at what you can invent. You don't look at the data.
That's right.
Why? Because the data is full of lies. The data is full of lies. But there's obviously lies because the problem do not get resolved. When the problem don't get resolved, you need to know that there are a lot of lies. How do you solve a situation where there are a lot of lies? You come up with ideas, totally new ideas. So this is number one. So you will come up with ideas, the business will start to improve, there will be some kind of a relaxation, but there will be a second wave. There will be a second wave because the virus don't go away. The virus is not going to go away, and putting people in quarantine is not handling the problem, is just making the problem worse.
Yes.
So there will be a second wave, and you need right now, more important even to just making money now and making it go right now, your purpose should be divided to two. Number one, make it go right now, get income, have the best months of your life now. Right now, you can have income greater than any income you had in the past because you have no competition and endless amount of need for help. But you also need to be prepared for the second wave and everything that it means. Because the second wave will come in two forms. The first form, okay, there will be another virus and that will be one form, but that's I'm not worried about. The second wave will be the wave of the realization of all the money that has been spent that no one has.
That's right.
Look, if you look at a country like Israel, spent probably something like $10 billion. 10 billion, it's a lot for Israel.
Yes.
On a situation where they had maybe, let's say 1,000 people or 5,000 people that die, that they got sick, not die, a few hundred die. So if I take 5,000 people and I take $10 billion divided by 5,000 people, the cost per patient is something that is just not
Absolutely.
logical.
Yeah.
Not logical. Why? Because you try to save 300 people that die. Not logical, do you understand? So the cost per patient is extreme. The expenses, the government spend tons of money that they don't have. It's not the money that they have. Tons of money that they don't have. So what you're going to see next is a collapse. And some of the collapse already started to happen, big companies, big retailers that going bankrupt. But that's just the beginning. Because the majority of the economy is carried on the back of small size and medium size businesses.
Yes.
And those businesses will disappear. Those businesses will disappear. Lots of businesses will just disappear. Whole industries will disappear and will have major problems unless, and who will survive? Those people that will learn that something can be done about it. And you need to understand in any industry you are, whatever you do, you need to understand something can be done about it. And the moment that you realize something can be done about it, the next thing you need to understand, you need 3 sources of income. Whatever you do, you need 3 sources of income. You need 3 independent sources of income. And you need to learn how to do that. And everything that you will do has to do with your state of mind. And that's why I'm doing this, the path to you, the secret path to the Yoga Sutras, because yoga was a method that has been used in order, the purpose of yoga was to recover the true nature or to bring the spirit to its native state. That was the purpose of yoga, the real purpose of yoga. And I know that if we can get the spirit very quickly to be in a higher condition than what it is right now, I will not need to explain anything. You will simply know, and things will go right all over. And that's why I'm doing those webinars. That's why I'm doing them right now for free. So every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I deliver 2 hours webinars where I'm actually going to show you how to become you. And that is unbelievably powerful. Once you become you, once you actually starting to use your native abilities to create something out of nothing, and hear that, your native ability to create something out of nothing, once you recover that, nothing can stop you.
Absolutely. I'm so excited actually to ask the following question.
Yes.
The so-called, at least in the medical industry, I'm sure it is true for every other industry and every other person, the so-called the placebo effect, right? So, and everybody by now know that it is not actually the treatment that you go through that makes you better, although it can fix you physically as far as your body is concerned, if you broke your leg, things like that. But what really heals you is you saying to yourself, or you thinking, so to speak, that I'm just fine. As a matter of fact, my father is 101 years old. He is totally healthy. He is still driving. He is zero on medication. He was a chief nurse in World War II. Him and I will talk a lot that how did you pull it off? And then one characteristic that this man has from the World War II, and he's surviving better than anybody else. He's alone. I lost my mother when she was 87 to Alzheimer's, or 89. And then all his friends do not exist anymore. He survived, and he is all alone. And he survived only because nothing can touch me. I know who I am. I know what I am. And son, I'm not by my body. Don't make the mistake because it is a little bit difficult for me to walk. My muscles or my bones may not be quite acting. This is doing extremely well. And he'll be like that for a long time to come. When he expires, he's going to expire with totally being in good condition. However, my question is, he is doing to himself unbeknown, he pulled it off. But most other people are not able to do that. I understand the body part. I understand the mind part. But what I want to know, or what I want you to describe to whoever is watching this, what is really behind the mind? What people are doing, it is going to happen because I said so. But there is more to it that there may or they may not be quite understanding. So what is really propelling them? What is making this mind work and then control the body?
Yeah. Okay. So in order to understand what really happened, we need to understand that the physical universe has been created. Yes, does it make sense to you? The physical universe has been created. So what does it mean created? Created mean to bring something out of nothing. Created do not mean to change something. So if I take a paint and I paint a picture, I did not create really the picture because everything that I'm using has been already created for me. So I'm just changing things, yes?
Yes.
So I'm not really creating it. That's why there's an opinion about it. Is it nice? Is it beautiful? Is it ugly? But if I come up with a totally new idea, if you can conceive the idea of bringing something out of nothing, which means you come up with an idea that has nothing to do with anything, and you say that it will happen, and so it will happen, that's something that once you can do it, you actually create a universe, or you modify a universe, or you put a universe there, okay? When a person have a viewpoint that he is the creator, when a person have the viewpoint that he can bring something out of nothing, the manifestation will be nothing will touch me. The manifestation will be, I don't care what's happening with the body, I'm senior to the body. The manifestation will be anything that I will say will happen. Why? Just because I say so. When you can have this viewpoint, you will see that everyone around and everything around will surrender to you. And when I say everyone and everything, I mean everyone and everything from your viewpoint. And that can happen only if you allow everyone around you to be at least at that level. It will not happen a second before. Because when you don't see someone as powerful, you think that he's right or wrong. And at that moment, you moved from being spiritual to being physical. What does it mean being physical? It means deciding that you are either more right or more wrong. You are either more plus or more minus. At that moment, that's it. So the problem with making someone wrong, the problem with not letting someone else to be as perfect as you, is that the moment that you compare yourself to someone and not making them as perfect as you, which means there's no comparison, if you can actually have this viewpoint of, I don't compare myself to someone, it means I don't need confirmation. It means I'm spiritual. It means I'm not in the physical universe, because only outside of the physical universe, there's no comparison. And the moment that you start comparing, you step into the physical universe, you have all the liabilities of the physical universe, and you will lose.
It's interesting, like a certain spiritual leader that lived about 2,000 years ago, he said, help yourself for me to help you. And people took that literally in terms of helping myself in physical universe terms. But what he was really talking about, you helping yourself first by recognizing, understanding that you are a spiritual being. Then you are the mind, then you are the body, so forth and so on. People, they go to various prayer houses, mosques, churches, and synagogues, so forth and so on. They pray to something, but they pray with mind, not necessarily with their spiritual beingness. And as a result, they don't get really results. So people, they really need to understand that. This yoga seminar or webinar, which is free, by the way, that you mentioned, it appears to me is going to address that and how to make people find themselves.
Yeah. So the first thing, in order to progress in any area, what you need to do is to gain the ability to communicate about the area. What does it mean? You need to agree on the symbols that you're going to communicate with. In our case, the words, okay? So what I do, the first thing that I'm doing, I'm establishing communication language with the participants. Then once the communication language is there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what you need to see in order to delete data and not to add data. So my viewpoint on learning is that you know everything. I will never tell you that you don't know, because then I make you less than a spirit. So you know everything, and everything that you know is there, and the only problem that you don't have access to it because you've been convinced for a long time that you don't know, but you actually know. So the moment that I will remove those things that you incorrectly believe are right, but they're actually lies, and you will not rely on data anymore and not on the source, what will happen, you rely on you. And once you start to rely on you to know, you know. So the real problem, many times I ask people what's more important, the data or the source, and most people tell me the source, but actually the data is more important than the source. And what's more important than the data? You, the observer.
So you're distinctly, you're separating you as a spiritual being and then you as your mind. And then when you're talking about the data, you are referring to the data, to the information that is planted or you have acquired by getting education in your mind. And some or most of it being incorrect information. And then what you are doing, then you are really, rather than give more information as if bestowing us degrees with university, whatnot, you are not doing none of that. We already have enough of that. As a matter of fact, I have 15 years of university in my pocket, but I did not become who I am and what I am until I realized I already know enough in terms of the physical universe. So what is it that I can do next? Delete data. Identify and locate that data that doesn't belong in your mind, based on which you are making most of your decisions. Yeah. By thinking, and you are not taking action.
Yeah. So the idea is that you are a spirit. The spirit is a nothingness that can bring about the somethingness. The spirit is a nothingness that can bring about the somethingness. You have a mind and you have a body. So you have ownership of a mind. You are the owner of the mind, which means an owner means that you can get rid of it or you can keep it. That's what it means, an owner. If I'm an owner of something, I can get rid of it or I can keep it. Yes, I'm responsible for it. And if as an owner I'm not doing that job, then I'm not the owner. Yes, so you are the owner. You need to know that you own a mind and you own a body. And imagine someone that owning a dog, okay? And imagine that this person that own a dog walk with the dog, and the dog tells the person what to do. If the dog will tell the person sit, and the person will sit. The dog will tell the person bark, and the person will bark. The dog will tell the person stay, and the person will stay. And it will look, something is wrong there, yes? Very wrong. When your mind tells you what to do, and people are working a lot on their state of mind, and they think that their state of mind is so important because the mind tells them what to do. Once, the moment that you forgot, the moment that you don't realize that your mind should be your slave and not your master, your mind should be something that you own, not that owns you. The moment that you miss that distinction, you start to go down. Because a person that allows his dog to give him commands is not in a good condition. And your mind should be, dog is much more than a mind, because a mind is a dead thing. It's just pictures. It's just a collection of your past. And if you make it too important, you are not you. It's like if you make your dog more important than you, you are not you. If the dog gives you commands, you are not you.
Great analogy with the dog.
Yeah. So thank you. So what we want, what you want, is to learn how to become you again. What does it mean, how to become you again? It means you put the mind there, you put the physical universe there, you put the body there, and they don't give you command. You create them. You don't give them command. You create them as you want. Totally different viewpoint, yes?
Absolutely. So we started talking about COVID and landlordship, and then the majority of our conversation concentrated or revolved around the mind, and what is behind is that us cogniting on our spirituality, which no matter what conversation we pick up from the physical universe, today is COVID, tomorrow is going to be something else, the politics, economy, so forth and so on. We'll be talking about that or the problems that we're experiencing for 5-10 minutes, but the rest of the interview or the conversation, they're going to come back to the time that we spent over the last 20 minutes or so on this. And so this is what we need to confront and acquire the tools. And okay, what next? How do I become better? How do I find myself?
Join the webinar.
Absolutely. I know that the time is up. I will ask anyways for next time, or even for now, if you want to take on to it. This COVID made people, rather being locked down, made it lazy. And then people will say, I really don't have energy. And then people talk about energy as to sources of it, and then what it is and what is it that you need to do. Obviously, yoga has to do something about the energy. And do you think can dispense a couple of commentary on energy as to why people feel no energy and as to how they can acquire it?
Yeah. So energy, if I look in the physical universe, energy is a result of different potentials. You've got plus and minus, and you put some kind of a load in between them, like a bulb or something, and then you have a flow of current that release energy. Okay? So in order for you to have energy, you need to create a flow. Does it make sense?
Absolutely.
So what does it mean, flow? It means you need to get into action. You need to force yourself to move. You need to get your body to move. You need to give the body the command, move, and make the body move. You need to do things. Now, technically, why you're not moving is because you are being something. When you are being something, there is no different of potentials. But when you're being and then you don't have, or you have more than what you're being, one of the two, either you have a goal to achieve something, or you have a goal that you don't want to lose something. That in both cases, you have the beingness, who you are, yes, versus what you have. And this is the difference in potential, and you will start to move. So when you are not moving, when you don't have energy, when you feel that that you're just tired all the time and so on, what you need to decide is either what you want to achieve, specific thing you want to achieve, $7 or $700 or whatever, something that you want to have, physical thing you want to have, or decide what do I want to be, and you will see that there will be a flow. At that moment, there will be a flow, and you will start to move. Now, of course, there's much more to learn about it. Join the webinar. I will teach you everything you need to know about how to become, how to actually, how to recover your willingness to demonstrate your abilities. So really, this is all what we're talking about. What I teach you is how to increase your willingness to demonstrate your abilities. Once you start to demonstrate your abilities, once you start to actually show your abilities, no one needs to teach you anything. You know better than everyone and anyone, because who are you? You are the creator of your own universe. You are the creator. You are the one that define your feeling. You are the one that define your result. You are the one that define if it's difficult or easy. You are the man. You are the one. You are the God of your own universe. And the question is, can you actually experience that? Are you willing to take that responsibility of a God?
And the religious leader I mentioned to you before, this is exactly what he said. I created you in my image.
Yep, that's
we
correct.
Are gods in our own universe.
The God of your own universe. Specifically, I'm not talking about you are the real God. Yes, just on your own universe, on a limited thing. That's what God. That's what the real God gave you. That's your playing field.
This was great, Meir, and
thank you, Marcel.
So yes. I have already coordinated that next Friday we will do it at the same time.
Nice.
And as a matter of fact, the Friday after as well, we're going to do it. And we're going to be somewhat maybe more specific, because there are many webinars, if you will, that is out there, so to speak. Yoga is being one of them coming up now, that people, if they like what they hear, what they see here, that they have a menu to select from as to how fast and how much they want to advance themselves, that they can really attend to. So we can talk about those in the upcoming weeks.
We can pick up any subject, and people can send you maybe an email or WhatsApp or Instagram and ask you questions, or they can ask me questions, and then we can pick them up in the next discussion that we will have.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing you again this coming Saturday.
Yes, Sunday. We're going to meet on Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday 3
Yeah, we're going to have 2 meetings actually. One at 4 p.m., one at 11 a.m. your time, which is the wealth formula, and then at 3 p.m. this is the free. Yeah, so we're going to have a few hours on Sunday together.
Perfect.
Okay, I love you.
Very well.
Thank you for everyone for joining. Thank you for. Let me just look quickly at the comments. So we've got a lot of people here. Nice. Anton, Carmela. Wow, Sanford, hi. Dolly, nice. Neville, yes. That's really good. Nice to see everyone. Thank you for joining, and thank you for everyone joining in on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, Meir Ezra Official. If you have any question, private message me. Private message me is the best way to ask me questions, and I will always answer. Always. You'll get an answer. I don't promise that you will like the answer. You will not necessarily get the answer you like, but I promise it will be the answer you need. I promise it will bring you results. So if you're after results, ask me questions. I'll give you the results. Marcel, thank you very much.
Thank you, Meir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And Swapna, thank you. Thank you for Shamaya that organizing everything in the background. And of course, thank you for Gali, the most amazing person in the universe. And thank you for everyone watching. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Thank you. Ciao.